Hello everyone, it's me, Bradley Q, back again, and right now I want to talk about Madame Web, the Spider-Man, or at least Spider-Man is movie by Sony that is so bad it's honestly a must-watch. And I I know people have talked about this a lot, and a lot of people have been comparing it to Morbius. And well, I kind of see why people are comparing it to Morbius, considering they are two like movies from Sony trying to capitalize off the Spider-Man universe that have gotten a very poor reception. I think that comparison is kinda off because, well, personally, I didn't really dislike Morbius. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it was definitely not a great film. It it was not it really sure it could have had did some things right, but it could have been a lot better. And honestly, it just barely skims up to being good enough that I don't consider like it's just mediocre. But I don't think it was really bad. Just not really nothing that I was really surprised. Just kind of a little bit boring, and I guess no, it doesn't really feel that good. But it and and the thing with Morbius is that there was all like the online jokes about it, the whole Morbin time thing, and the I'm about to morb and all this, the other like memes. Those always made it those made it sound just a lot more entertaining than it actually was. And why is that important? Because Madame Web is not like Morbius. It's a lot worse, way worse. Like I said, that like I might have considered like you might. I doubt my page could have considered more. Yeah, but like Morbius was passable. This thing is just bad, and it's bad enough that it actually gets funny to watch. So it's legit the kind of film that all the jokes made it sound like Morbius was going to be. So I used to probably so here's kind of a summary of what happened in the movie. Okay, at the start, so the movie is about this girl. Okay, it's Sandra Webb who's a paramedic in New York, and basically what happened was when her mom was pregnant with her, she her mom was like part of a team that was like researching this type of spider in Peru, and and they found this spider which was supposed to have like all of these like super for interesting properties with its venom that could be used to heal people. Well, they found the spider. Then, like this guy on the team betrayed her, took out a gun and killed most of them, and injured injured her mom. But, but these people who were like from there tried to like help her, and she gave birth to her child Cassandra, but she died. Unfortunately, she died shortly after. And this is the opening scene, and the opening scene really stuck out to me because it has some of the most trash acting. I, well, okay, the acting is not trash. It did like when I watched it, it did seem like the actors were trying to work for with the to work for what they got with the script, but the script is so bad. Okay. I'm just going to read like this through the script from the opening scene. Verbatim in, and before we get started, the guy who betrays her mom's name is Zico, and the mom's name is Constance. So here's the exact script. Ezekiel, you think we're close? Constance, they're almost impossible to find. No one's captured one alive. Ezekiel, I agreed to provide security to you because I thought you were close to finding the spider. Constant. A little bit worth the wait. The dead specimens showed the peptides in the spider venom. Basically, they supercharge their cellular structure. That's Ezekiel. That spider can give superhuman strength and power like our Asarana. Constant. Asarana? Yeah, that mythical spider people who run across the treetops and punish evil men with their black poison pests? I'd like to make my research on science, not legend, Mr. Stamps. Ezekiel. Those powers are wasted here. And then Constance finds like a spider. Constance. Though these little spiders have the potential to cure hundreds of diseases. Then Constance having like I think pregnancy cramps. Ezekiel, are you okay? Constance, no. She's trying her best to keep me from working. I'm not going to let her do that. Not when I'm this close. Ezekiel. Oh wait. Whoops, I got things wrong. She hadn't found the spider yet. She was just found like a web. Okay, but here's what happens. Ezekiel, perhaps it's Therese. Constance, I don't have time. Thank you for the umbrella. Oh, and just before Ezekiel just handed her an umbrella and I don't know, this sounded awkward. And then Ezekiel wandered off for a second, then Constance sails out. Constance, I found it! I found the spider! Isn't she beautiful? Incredible, isn't it? Something so small, so much power. Ezekiel then grabs his gun and starts shooting people. Constance, stop! What are you doing? I don't understand. I've been searching for that spider for years. Ezekiel is starting to like grab the spider. Constance, no, we could help so many people. Ezekiel, I'm not interested in helping people. No one helped me when my family was starving. My road was not as clear as yours. We didn't have the same choices. Constance, you're making the wrong decisions. Ezekiel, give me that spider. Constance, you're making the wrong decision. Ezekiel, give it to me. Give it to me. You can't. Then like Ezekiel takes the spider from her and then he starts running off and then we see like the people come to get her and it's literally just the spider people that she was like talking about there. Like yeah. In case you're doubting, this is exactly what happens in the script. I will link it in the description. I am not changing things. They do, in the movie, actually just state things out loud out there. Ezekiel, I'm not lying when I say that Ezekiel was literally just ranting out his motivations at the very start of the movie. And you know the funny part? This isn't even the worst it gets. Yeah. So after the opening scene, which legitimately made me wonder if I had actually found if I was like watching a parody of this movie, we then cut over and we then later cut over to where Cassandra is at her job. So basically, Cassandra is working at paramedics. She's going outside normally. Then she has this near-death experience where she falls into the river while doing a rescue on a bridge. And when she gets back, she starts having these kind of like visions where she's seeing where she doesn't know what she's seeing at first, but what she figures out is that she's actually able to see like events in the near future. And so eventually she's just like walking up. So she just goes around until what happens, and we also see Ezekiel here who is also having this thing where he's now getting visions of these free spider of these three spider women who keep defeating him in the future, and he resolves to kill those people before they eventually acquire their powers. And so later, and so what eventually happens is that Cassandra is going into is getting into like a subway, and is where all three of the girls who he's seeing in his visions are just going to there, like none of them know anything about each other or any of this yet. Cassandra and so Cassandra is going there too. Ezekiel, and what happens is that I mean, did I mention Ezekiel or Cassandra? Well, both Ezekiel and Cassandra are. So Cassandra is going to the subway. Ezekiel is going to the subway too because he wants to kill the three girls who are currently there. And what happens is that Cassandra starts getting visions of him attacking and killing them, and so she just gets all the tells all the girls that they have to leave the subway. The girls are all a little nervous, not sure what, but they go along with it, and then they see Ezekiel showing up to try and kill them, and pretty clearly and then they all realize that okay, maybe this person actually has a point, and a lot of stuff happens, and then they escape, and for the rest of the movie, and that's kind of sort of for the dynamic for the rest of the movie where Cassandra is like trying to protect the girls from Ezekiel who trying to kill them. And so I've said that I've already think we've established that the acting in the movie from the script, like in the dialogue and the script, well, the acting, it doesn't necessarily seem like the actors were phoning it in or anything, but a lot of the stuff in the writing for this movie is just so bad. Like, it's very clear that the actors here had basically nothing to work with. And I mentioned, what was that I thought of? Oh yeah. So one of the weird things in this movie is that there's a lot of dialogue where it seems like they didn't, where what the characters are actually saying and the emotional tone of it doesn't really match up. It almost seems as if you had parts of this. It almost makes you wonder as if parts of this have been filmed before. Some major changes were done in the script, and they didn't bother to reshoot those, and so it just gets really stilted. So you just get really stilted stuff. But at the same time, you also have times with the dialogue where you'll have people just in a conversation, and the stuff they say just doesn't make sense for some people talking to each other. So maybe it was just everything was always, there was no big changes to the script, and the script was always trash. And I guess so here's a big example of that. when is it during the scene where Cassandra was trying to warn the girls, one of them offhand said, "Hey, I'm being kidnapped." And I don't know why she said that, because she wasn't actually afraid of. She didn't seem like she thought that Cassandra was kidnapping, and she just went with Cassandra. But after she said that, that got the police to try and arrest Cassandra, and the police just got, which they almost did, but then the cops got murked by Ezekiel, and the four of them, and so the four people just ran away. But after that happens, Cassandra and the girls get into a taxi. They hear on the radio that and they hear on the radio that it's believed that that she the cops are saying that they believe this woman that they describe as her had kidnapped the girls, and they're looking for them. So they start discussing this, and as they point out, the people who know the true story are Cassandra and the three girls. And you would think that that this actually makes this easy, because they can just go to because she has like an airtight alibi. She knows that she would. All three of the girls will tell that they can just go to the cops, and all three of the girls can tell them she was not kidnapping them, and it was someone else who was trying to attack them. But for some reason, they don't do that. Instead, what they like to do is ride off all the way out of Manhattan, and all the way into this rural area near the forest, and then go down to this camping site where they all just hang out, because I guess running away and hanging out for a few hours is just the simplest option, right? Now, the thing here is that Ezekiel apparently got some stuff from Ezekiel is this big businessman magnate now. Like, I'm not sure if it was something that he gained. Like, it's not sure if he stole. I actually don't remember if they specifically said that he stole some. If he used the stuff he stole from Constance and the spider venom stuff to become some pharmaceutical guy or something. But he's now this really rich guy, and he has a hacker he has this hacker he's hired who can take over pretty much literally every security cam in the entirety of New York City, and set an AI program to scan it for the people he's after. So in that degree, it does so with that knowledge, running off out of the town does kind of make sense. Although I'm not sure why he never found. Although, as we later see, they can also scan. Although it's not clear why he was only able to hack security cameras within the boundaries of the city. When we also see that their social medias, they're able to actually scan social media stuff too. And so if Cassandra actually had some indication about that, then getting out of the city would be a rational choice. But she doesn't know anything about this at this time at all. At this time of the movie, I don't think. In fact, I'm not sure if she realized she's being scanned by security cameras ever in the movie. So this just doesn't make sense for her to do. You have a perfect alibi. You can just go to the cops, tell them, "Hey, I was not kidnapping them. We have the proof here. All the girls can back up my story," and then just get out of it. But instead, she runs off to the campsite. Okay. So I guess let's still keep being generous, because after all, she was just attacked by this spider weirdo. So maybe it makes sense not to be making perfect decisions. So she goes here, and what she decides is that she'll drop these kids off here, just leave them alone at the campsite, so she can slip back to her apartment and retrieve the stuff her mother said about spiders. And this is where I started getting kind of confused. Because we know that there's this guy who's looking for them. This and yeah, she might not be able to like fight this guy, but does it really make sense at all to just leave them here alone? Even yeah, sir. You could yeah, sir. This is a place that's sort of off the map. It's kind of secluded, so it'd be hard to find. But also there are like zero witnesses here. Who would like see anyone coming. There is no place that they can actually hide, like no shelter or anything. And she doesn't even and now that I think about it, she didn't even check to have check their phone number. She didn't even ask them to like have their phone number or anything. I know that one girl mentioned that she had a phone and that they might be able to track it on there. That the police might be able to track it on there, and then Cassandra just grabbed the phone and checked it out. Okay, but there's two other girls. You can't tell me that neither of them had cell phones. But okay. Yeah, I can sort of see how this plan makes sense. It it's not like there's much good. It's not like there's a huge amount of good options on the table here. So she says that she'll be leaving them for only a couple hours and to stay specifically at the campsite, not go anywhere else. Well, she ends up saying, I don't know what time it was that this started in the movie, but she must have been staying a while because she was there because I think the sun was it was fairly high in the sky, like it couldn't have been too long after noon. And by the time that she started like heading back, it was already like night, like that. So she left the teenagers there for like several hours. And what happened was the teenagers who had been just sitting alone for several hours, decided to leave the campsite and go up to a diner. When they go to the diner, they basically go to the diner. They start just hanging out. One of them starts dancing to like a Britney Spears song on the radio. The other start dancing. Someone posts this on social media, and that's what gets the attention. And that social media post gets scanned by the person who's looking for them, and then they head to this location. Cassandra follows to this place. Then and she gets a vision of the person attacking the girls, so she shows up to enter. So following what happened in the vision, she changes her plan and manages to catch the guy by surprise. Then she picks up the girls into the car. She gets all the girls into the car and runs off. And like here, once they're like out of like danger, she does this whole rant to all three of the teenagers about how selfish they are, about how why did you never think about what could happen here? Why don't you ever think about anyone by yourself? And I'm just sitting here just I have no idea. Like, lady, you left three teenagers alone for several hours on a camping site in the middle of literally fucking nowhere. Like, did you not suspect at all that they were going to leave the place or anything? Not after staying up here till like sundown? And it's almost framed in a way with the movie so that makes you really want to think that this is like supposed to be a valid point, and it isn't. like if this was supposed to be, if she was supposed to be kind of like fraying at the edges, and one of the teenagers pointed out what were we and one of the teenagers actually pointed out that, well, what were we supposed to do, then that would work. But the the movie does not seem to understand what's happening in its own film. And there's just a lot of really funny and just all of these weird decisions that you'll see characters making where it's just why? Like, at the climax of the movie. I will not spoil exactly what happens, but the big element of the thing here is that that Cassandra and the girls are being tracked by what's his name again? Are being tracked by Ezekiel, and what their plan is to do is to lure him into a building filled with just fireworks, all these fireworks lying around, and trap him in it, and use the building and just trap him in there and blow him up. So they know he's coming for them. They got to get to this place in a car. They know he's coming. They take a bunch of like flares, and then start tossing them like all into like the pallets of fireworks. And for whatever reason, none of the pallets of fireworks actually started exploding or anything until Ezekiel arrives in there with him. After which they immediately start exploding, and for whatever reason, despite all the fireworks just exploding randomly, all of the girls are okay, while only Ezekiel is the one who actually gets hit by one of them and gets knocked over. So Ezekiel is slowed down. All the girls are running. All the people are running ahead. Other people are running ahead, and I want you to ask which of these decisions, considering like the situation that they're in, which decision do you think would make more sense for them? Decision 1: leave the building through the door you're closest to and the door you came through. Close the door and lock it so that Ezekiel can't get out through it. And then just run away and get back into the car and use that to drive away from the scene, so that Ezekiel is stuck there in the exploded. So that if Ezekiel does manage to escape the exploding building, then you'll still have like a big advantage of him, and he'll be hurt, or only one hurt. Or 2, don't go out through the door. Instead, climb up onto the roof of the building. Which is full of like fireworks exploding and stuff. Get out onto the top of the building, and then call in for like a medevac helicopter, and wait for it to arrive while the building is while there are like explosions going off all over the building, and Ezekiel is still in there and may or may not be alive. Guess which decision the protagonist in this story pick? Yes, I am not. Yeah, it's all the. I know it might not seem all that egregious when I'm just describing it like without really giving the context, but when you actually see it in the film, it always feels like for half the time you're going to be looking at the screen and just suddenly yelling at the characters, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Does any of this make sense?" Anyways, but seriously, I can't get mad at this film because I accidentally knocked my mic out there. So back to this. But in any case, I can't really get mad at this film because it's funny. really funny. And I guess that's really just it. Like the like rating for the film, I do maybe somewhere but like 2.5 out of 10. It, oh, maybe that's too harsh. Like maybe 3 out of maybe. Okay, it could be. I'd say perhaps 3 out of 10. Could be lower, it could be higher. And really, it's definitely not a good film, but but with how bad it is, it's funny. And I and honestly, it was pretty. And with how enjoyable to watch it, and how enjoyable it was to watch, then yeah, I can't say it's bad. Like it's like if you want to get drunk and have bad movie night, then this is a good one. So I think that's all I have to say. And in case, see you, and I guess I'll make more videos later once I have something I think could be a good pop culture. When I think I have like some thoughts about about some media or something that I want to share. So, uh, see y'all next time. Peace out.